Two teams that have clinched a postseason berth and two of the top 10 goal scorers in the league here tonight for this match presented by The Ideal Life. It's the Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion FC. Michael Watrang with former Manchester United keeper Gary Bailey. Great to have you with us. Here's how things play out in the Eastern Conference. All but one position has been solidified. Miami and Detroit jockeying for that final spot in the postseason. Charleston could play a variety of teams. It could be Birmingham, depending on how tonight's match sorts out. And for this Charleston group, what a turnaround it has been. Historical. Tying for the biggest turnaround in league history, plus 31 points. They can break that record tonight. What a difference a year makes.
And what a difference Ben Pearman makes. You have to be fair. He's the man who's come along, turned it around, brought in some extra players, the likes of Chris Allen from his former club, and Trey Muse has come in goals, and the difference has been incredible from one season to the next. The only question is, can they take it all the way through to the end and to the championship?
One player that will be key for this group, Augie Williams. He's 9th in the league in goal scoring this year with 13.
Yeah, he was top for Charleston last season, does it again this season. He's got a couple of assists as well. Got goals in the last two matches against Miami and El Paso, so the man is in form, but just a natural goal scorer. Wonderful player up front.
Birmingham has been trying to hold off the likes of Miami and Detroit the last 2 weeks, but they come out with wins over Memphis and Monterey Bay, and they are into the postseason.
Yeah, Nico Brett with the second there, and Wegbo with the first against Memphis. And then Agudelo here just does well. Stretches out, that one comes in off the crossbar, and that was against Monterey. And then have a look here at Colin Smith. Goes one way, goes the other, tucks it into the corner, and they get the 2-0 win.
Ben Pearman said that Birmingham is one of the most talented teams in the league, and we didn't even mention Enzo Martinez, 10 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah, and he's playing a more of a holding midfield role, would you believe it, the 33-year-old, one of the top players in USL history, both in terms of scoring and assists.
What happens this evening? It's Birmingham and Charleston facing off for the 7th time. Birmingham won in stoppage time in the first meeting. How does tonight's match play out? Starting 11s and the kickoff come your way next.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete. You're obsessed. You're in love. You're in pain. Spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity. Because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
Tonight's match is brought to you by The Ideal Life. The Ideal Life is a platform for growth mindset with a community of coaches, online resources, and courses where individuals and businesses can align their purpose with action, achieve their goals, and experience joy. The collaboration between The Ideal Life and the Charleston Battery demonstrates how effective their framework can be. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Bud Light. Charleston makes one change this evening.
Yeah, just the one. It's Marcanic coming in because Barajas is off with the Mexican U17 team, the 17-year-old wonder kid. But also great to see Marcanic back. He's such a good striker up front. We think they might play in a sort of 4-4-2, maybe even a 4-5-1 with Augie Williams on his own up front, or perhaps even a 4-2-3-1. Take your pick.
For Birmingham on the other side, they make a change in goal. Matt Van Oekel missed the last 3 matches, makes his first start in a month.
Yeah, Spannenberg goes to the bench. The other change is Nico Brett starts up front and Wegbo goes to the bench. I mean, look at that attacking lineup. Agadello, Brett, Preston, even Kasim and Pasha and Martinez. That's a lot of firepower going forward for Birmingham Legion.
These two sides squared off on July 29th in Birmingham. It was a 1-0 lead for the 3 Sparks until the 82nd minute. Tristan Traeger equalized. Derek Dotson had the game winner in the first minute of added time. Birmingham is into the postseason for a 5th consecutive year. Meanwhile, Charleston, a 31-point turnaround, locked into the number 3 seed. They can face off against either Blue City, Indy, or this Birmingham side, but they know that they will be hosting. It'll be next Sunday at 4 p.m. in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals as the number 3 seed in the USL Championships Eastern Conference. And Gary, these two sides locked into the playoffs. You've clinched that. Charleston, really not much to play for in that regard, unless they absolutely do not want to play Birmingham next week. But what do you think the mindset is for these two groups?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, perhaps for Birmingham, they want to avoid playing Tampa Bay, so the point's important for them, but it is one of those tricky ones. End of season, you've done the job you were meant to do, which Birmingham did in their last couple of games. A really good win against Monterey Bay last time out by 2-0. So congrats to Tom Sohn once again for making the playoffs. But it's probably just getting in the right frame of mind, making sure the habits are good, making sure that you're not going to let anything slip in the build-up to the playoffs. So a match in which players maybe are struggling to give more than 100%, but the managers nonetheless will expect it from them.
Charleston have lost back-to-back matches for the first time this season. Birmingham's won 2 in a row. Here's your official tonight, Austin Ciani. He double checks everybody on the pitch. Charleston out in the yellow and blacks, Birmingham in the all-whites. With Gary Bailey, I'm Michael Watrang. Great to have you with us here at Patriots Point as we get set for kickoff on a Saturday evening. Check of the watch, a blow of the whistle. And this match ignites Birmingham and Charleston in the regular season finale. Charleston has scored at least 1 time in 16 of the last 18 matches. These sides have elite goal scoring players at the top. You mentioned no Fidel Barajas. He is with the Mexican U17s. More on him at halftime.
I think we have to say about Charleston Battery, you mentioned that number of points turnaround in 1 season. I think it's 31 points, but I mean, that's an incredible job that Ben Pearman's done. It's the biggest turnaround ever in the history of the USL. And yeah, he brought some players in. Derek Dodson came in. Chris Allen, I thought, was a very important one. Declan Wynn came in on the left. And even more recently, Mark Segbers has joined. But again, the manager has to put it all together. And what a job he has done at Charleston Battery. However, no point getting to the playoffs and not progressing further. So he'll be pushing this Charleston Battery side.
Marcanic gives chase. Van Oekel punches away, and it's a goal kick. There's Marcanic, the last man to touch it. And to expand even further upon the point for Charleston, they have a USL Championship era club record, 16 wins this year. Talk about a turnaround for this team last season that had 25 total points. They had more points on the road this season, currently with the best road record in the league this year. And they're playing at home tonight. And we'll get a home playoff match next week, 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Will it be this Birmingham side? Will it be in the 11, who currently holds the number 6 spot, or will it be Lou City?
Now, when you talk about teams that are very, very good on the road, that just tells me that they're fighters, that their manager can get the best out of them, because on the road, some teams get a little bit soft. You know, they're away from home, they don't like it, it's not their normal setup. And that's why generally teams do struggle on the road. So if this is the best team on the road, it just tells me that mentally they're a tough team. And of course, again, that is driven by the manager.
It's to showcase that today, having lost back-to-back matches for the first time this year. It's a giveaway, though, just out of the reach of Ikaza. Preston. Alcadello sends it forward, thrown through the middle. Scrambling to get the ball away are the Battery. Plenty of pressure. Markanik gliding through. Allen switches it to the left side. Hustling outside of the box. A shot bangs around, and Van Oekel catches it.
Interesting to see Matt Van Oekel in goals at 36 years of age. You thought Spannenberg had made it his position.
Augie Williams thought about taking aim. The shot gets blocked.
Just wondering that maybe they're just giving Trevor Spannenberg a bit of a rest. Ooh.
Look at that effort by Muse to keep that one away. It does lead to a corner, but his aggression nearly catches him off guard.
Yeah, I guess he was a long way off his line there, and there's sort of a bit of a gap to take that shot. But have a look here, it's just inside the halfway line from Nico Brett. And Trey Muse is scrambling across. Interesting that Ben Pearman, when we chatted to him a day or two ago, he said that of all the players, it's crucial to them winning something this season. A solid, reliable goalkeeper in good form is what they want. So Trey Muse, it's important for him these next few games that he's on top form.
Muse second in the league in clean sheets. Corner kick coming. Twirling into the 18. Headed away by Archer. Augie Williams waits for it. Fine work there by Ikaza. Charleston back on the build. That left-hand side, Williams the intended target, and it goes out for a corner. Today's keys to the game are brought to you by Gildan, the leader in high-quality, comfortable apparel basics located right here in the Low Country.
Well, dealing with a direct ball is what Charleston will have to do on occasion, especially with Spannenberg and goals that were going very direct. Not sure if Matt Van Oekel will choose the same process. And for Birmingham, use the attacking talent. I mean, Enzo is a holding midfielder. Seriously, Preston, Pasha, Brett, Kasim, and Agatello. I mean, wow. That is some talent they have going forward, Birmingham.
Here comes this corner kick, whipped in. Fired through, and Van Oekel watches over the top of the bar. Goal kick coming here for Birmingham. Birmingham has won 3 of the first 6 times these two teams have met. Both sides looking to finish the regular season on a high note. Going into the postseason that starts next weekend. All the matches will be on ESPN Plus, and it culminates with the final on November 12th on ESPN2. Markanik. Rodriguez turns. Augie Williams the intended target. Williams will not be able to get there in time, and Van Oekel sends it out to midfield. Rodriguez again. Ending flawless so far from Birmingham.
You see Birmingham approaching and attacking down that right-hand side, and you just wonder if that's aimed at Mark Segbers, a new left back at Charleston Battery, just joined the club a couple of games ago, and Birmingham might have picked him out as someone who's maybe trying to settle into that role. Perhaps he's a little bit vulnerable.
Segbers' his 3rd start with Charleston after the last 2 years in Miami.
And he gave away the penalty against Miami FC to let them back in the match, so perhaps just not quite settled into that role just yet.
Today's injury report is presented by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Take a look at the injuries. International duty for Barajas. And no injuries for Birmingham. They continue to have a consistent lineup here at the tail end of the year.
By the way, Buana was such a big loss to Charleston Battery at the start of the season. Ben Pearman had high hopes that he would have him available for the entire season, and he's been out with a serious injury. So they've had that to deal with as well, Charleston Battery.
Birmingham, the attacking third. It's handled very well. Martinez, though, steps up to intercept. Mensah gets it back, then juggles, and Markanik has done well defensively here in the first half.
You were mentioning a moment ago about the fact that Charleston Battery have lost 2 games in a row, and when chatting to Ben Pearman, he said he felt the team had just taken their foot off the pedal a bit. He drives them very, very hard, but I guess it's just human nature. You've made it into the playoffs, and in this match they can't go any higher or any lower. So he said a little bit of complacency has crept in, and he wants to avoid that going into their first playoff match next week.
No bleeds in both of those matches as well. And now there's a lot of space on this left-hand side. They instead go to the right. Brett gives chase. Agadello wide open on the back post, but the pass not there on time, and now he has to hustle after it and will not be able to catch up. Former U.S. men's national team start. Williams steps up to intercept. He was the target of that pass, and it's given right away. Pasher. Slipping is Preston on the sideline, able to keep it in, and it leads to a battery attack. Rodriguez charges. Arturo Rodriguez. Markanik settles. Cut it back, instead loses possession, able to maintain it. Ikaza, Traeger, thrown away by Van Oekel. Fine save right there.
Good save from the experienced goalkeeper there, and Tristan Traeger, he's been in really good form in recent weeks. Markanik doing a lot of work on the edge of the box, just trying to find the gap there, but Traeger with that shot from out wide. He had a good chance against Miami in the last match to have scored. Had a chance one-on-one with the goalkeeper, didn't take that. But he certainly has been a threat in recent games as Tristan Traeger.
Scored 5 times this season, most recently against Loudoun. A few games back. Corner kick for the first time from Arturo Rodriguez, curled in, headed twice, but wide, and it's a goal kick. Battery seemingly had a good moment there, but couldn't put it on frame.
Yeah, good header at the set piece. And that's what Ben Pearman will want from his side. Positive response to these last couple of defeats. We'll look as it goes in, climbing high. The two of them getting in each other's way in the end, and a flick on. Perhaps it was going wide, and the flick on was to try and redirect it on goal.
Birmingham back in their attack. It's fine work. Preston. He was able to keep it in play. I think it took a deflection. Ensures that that does not go out for a corner. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive online on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. For Birmingham, they are the number 7 seed unless they beat Charleston tonight And Indy 11 loses to San Antonio. That match kicks off at 8:30. Otherwise, Birmingham will be heading to Tampa Bay to begin the postseason.
I think if you're Birmingham, you'd probably rather play Charleston Battery than Tampa Bay. I mean, neither's easy, don't get me wrong. But, you know, Charleston have been a bit vulnerable at home. Thinking back earlier in the season, they lost 4-0 here to Indy, although they did have a player sent off. They lost 7-0 or 7-1 to San Antonio. Just an incredible result. So that would give Birmingham a little bit of hope here at Patriots Point.
Preston decided to step in and take that. Now a long distance shot. Takes a couple bounces before it's picked up by Muse.
And I'm not so sure that Ben Pearman would like to play Birmingham either. When we chatted to him, he said he thinks they're one of the most talented teams in the East. Above, he didn't say above Tampa Bay or Pittsburgh, but by saying they're the most talented team or one of them, he was sort of subtly suggesting it. And when you look at the attacking talent that Tom Sohn has in his lineup here today, it's understandable why Ben Pearman would say that. So I'm not so sure that Ben Pearman would like to play Birmingham, but I think Birmingham would probably prefer Charleston Battery away to Tampa Bay Rowdies away.
Certainly Birmingham not a team that anybody wants to see, having won 2 in a row for the 5th time this year. They've only had one 3-match winning streak this season. That was matches 2 through 4 of the year. Scoreless so far. The Battery have 3 shots. Birmingham Legion with 2, each side with a shot on target so far. Just given away by the Legion. Charleston take advantage. Funneled through the middle, but Van Oekel steps up to get there first, winning the race against Marcanic and company. '15th minute of the regular season finale between two teams that have clinched postseason berths. Charleston 0, Birmingham 0. Charleston the 3 seed in the East. Birmingham currently 7th. Would need a win and an Indy loss to be the number 6 and have this be a rematch of the opening round next week here at Patriots Point at 4 o'clock on Sunday. Michael Watrain, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, we're keeping an eye on that Detroit-Pittsburgh match. They're in the 59th minute. Still scoreless between Detroit City and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the team with the best record in the league. They already have home field advantage sewed up. Meanwhile, Detroit has 6 shots, but none on target. 0-0 there. A draw and a Miami loss would get Detroit into the postseason.
It's very tight between those two teams. They're the only teams left that have to figure things out in terms of making the playoffs or not. Everything else is pretty much settled in terms of who's going into the playoffs. Not quite sure who goes where. Obviously here today, something will be resolved from Birmingham's point of view, but for Detroit and Miami, this is a huge day. And wouldn't it be exciting for the neutrals if Detroit get a draw or a win? And then it puts all the pressure on Miami tonight. They're away at Sacramento Republic, who are top in the West, so that's going to be a really difficult match.
That's a 10 p.m. kickoff at Sacramento. The late window in the Western Conference certainly gets pretty interesting. Oakland, El Paso. One of those two will be the final team in. Oakland needs a win against El Paso in order to reach the postseason. El Paso could do a draw or a win to clinch their spot after New Mexico 4-1 winners over Memphis last night to clinch a postseason berth. Back-to-back positive results from New Mexico.
And in so doing, knocked Monterey Bay out, which has been tough for Frank Yallop and his team, who early on in the season looked really good and just sort of faded towards the end of the season. I think a lot of folk, myself included, expected Monterey Bay to be in those playoffs. They've got such a talented squad, but the USL is tough, tougher than it's ever been. There's no two sides that are easy wins anymore. You really have to fight your way and claw your way into the playoffs.
It's definitely going to make for a fun postseason to See how each conference lays out once the bracket is finalized, and then to see how things play out over the next month. Will one of these two teams make a deep run in the Eastern Conference, perhaps deeper?
Well, we did ask Ben Pearman that question, just how confident are you? And he said, look, let's take it game by game, he said, but for us to win the USL Championship, we'll probably need a couple of results for us to go elsewhere. In other words, teams above them lose and they get a second home match, maybe even a third one. He said, to take on some of these big guys away from home, and I'm assuming he means, Pittsburgh or Tampa Bay is a difficult one. She said, with a bit of luck, we get some more home draws, we could do it. But he underplays his side. They're on their day. This Charleston Battery team can be a very, very difficult side to break down.
Specifically mentioned Tom Izzo at Michigan State. The fact that the Spartans have been one of the best teams in the NCAA tournament in college basketball for so long. And Tom Izzo has said that you have to have some luck. Maybe you need a lower seeded team to win in order to reach a Final Four. And he takes the same mindset with this Charleston Battery unit. 0-0 so far in this match. Battery looking to snap a 2-match losing streak. Charleston looking to win their final 3. It's a clean win, but the shot nearly left the stadium, hits the high portion of the netting.
Yeah, maybe not his best strike there. Put a lot of power behind it, but for Tyler Pasher, nowhere near causing any problems to Trey Muse. But again, that's the ability they have. It's every midfielder for Birmingham Legion is actually a goal scorer. So it doesn't matter who that ball falls to. From Trey Muse's point of view, you've got to keep yourself on your toes. You don't know where the danger is going to come from.
Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Birmingham carries the ball forward. Mensah over to Preston. Now Pasher. Jake Roof. Pasher beats 2. Finds Mensah wide. Mensah hooks it around 2. Traeger was the only man over there for Charleston to get it away, but only as far as another white jersey. Pasher can't get it through the middle. Now Enzo Martinez to pull the strings. Mensah fires it in over 2, not a third, and it's hit wide.
Yeah, so many options in that box, players to find, and just whips that one in there. Mensah to the far post. Enzo playing that deep role for a guy who's got 10 goals and 7 assists. Look how deep he is. Videla at the far post, just unable to keep that ball down. But look at the options you got. Nico Brett was in there. Preston, who seems to be playing more on the left side early on in this match. Last match it was Agudelo more left. Now it's Preston is on the left. He was on the right beforehand in the last game. So they are moving around. A lot of flexibility in that attack for Birmingham Legion.
Brett 10th in the league in goal scoring with 12. Agudelo brings quite the resume, including 250 career MLS appearances and nearly 50 goals.
And again, to Ben Pearman's point earlier, this is probably one of the most talented sides in the USL, given the amount of quality they have, and maybe it would be fair to say more expected from them going into the playoffs, because they really should be more of a threat than they have been this season. They've been playing a bit hot and cold. To be fair to them, though, they had a hell of a run in the Open Cup. I think got to the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, that takes a lot out of you. You're playing MLS teams. You're putting a lot of excitement and energy into it. And I think they lost their way mid-season for a little bit, did Birmingham Legion.
Birmingham falling to... Actually, they beat Charlotte in the 5th round after beating 2 different Chattanooga sides. And then Memphis 901 in the 4th round. Run for Birmingham that extended all the way into June in the U.S. Open Cup. This ball whipped across. Agudelo was waiting. Instead, it's Kasim. Pasher. Not past Allen, but not the second. Ikaza. Still under a great deal of stress, and that foul will ensure that they can alleviate some of that.
That's a silly foul to give away. I think Augie Williams is going nowhere. He's going back towards his own goal. He's under pressure. Just let him have the ball, see if he can hold it up, see if he can nick it from off his toes. Instead, you bundle him over, and all the pressure gets relieved. Now Charleston can push their players up front, retain possession. So just an unnecessary free kick to give when you're controlling the match from a Birmingham point of view.
Again, given away. Martinez spies Kasim. Dotson steps up to intercept. Now does Charleston maintain some possession? Rodriguez. Ikaza. Arcanic. Now it's Birmingham holding a block. Ikaza flings it wide left. Traeger. Pasher. Traeger through. Local didn't get a piece. That was dangerous. Dotson right back in. Rodriguez had his sights set on Dotson. Intercepted.
Wow, Traeger doing so well, battling down that left-hand side. And when he whips it across, Augie Williams is near post. Oh, ends up taking a few risks there. He whips it across, and Augie Williams is literally 2 yards out. The ball comes flying past his foot, and he just can't make contact. But Traeger, once again, doing so well.
Just as Charleston had forced the giveaway, they give it right back. Slide tackle had to be timely, and it was. Great atmosphere here at Patriots Point. Here's another look at that last sequence.
Traeger looks like he's lost it there. He keeps going in there, slides across. Augie Williams is near post. To be fair to Matt Van Oekel, he probably got a touch and took it off Augie Williams' foot, but he was just waiting, the big number 9, and the ball just didn't quite reach him.
Haza maintains his balance. Here's Traeger again. Funnels it through. Ikaza. Marcanic trying to get the angle. Dips it back. Rodriguez. Traeger once more for Williams. Cleared away. Charleston boiling in the attack.
It just shows you why they're such a good side, Charleston Battery. They've defended well, they've been tight at the back. But when they attack, they cause you problems. They get to that byline, they whip the ball across the box. They ask questions of you. We saw them winning a ball from a corner as well, so they're good in the air. And they just pressurize you from every which way they can.
Now it's Birmingham's turn. Martinez. This is space. Agudelo. Agudelo aims. Fine defensive work there. Doesn't allow it to get some use. Helps out Augie Williams.
Pearman just having a little quiet word there on the touchline, passing on some instructions. see if Arturo Rodriguez pops up with something different in the next few minutes.
Dangerous pass from a long distance. Appeared as if Juan Palma had slipped. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+. The home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Whistle here. And a foul against Nagadello. Scoreless in that Detroit-Pittsburgh match. They're in the 73rd minute now. Scoreless in this one as well on a busy night. The final day of the USL Championship regular season. 2 postseason berths still at large. One in the East, one in the West. And positioning throughout each conference still on the line as well. Charleston locked into the number 3 spot. Your top 3 teams in the East are dialed in. Blue City can overtake Memphis with a win tonight against Tampa for that number 4 seed. Rodriguez.
Something else you must mention that isn't dialed in as yet is every player's position on the pitch. And I think 1 and 2 players on both sides will be fighting for a starting spot. I think of Nick Markanik. Can he prove something today? Because when Fidel Barajas gets back, you would think that he'll just be slotted straight in. So does he play well enough for Ben Pearman to think, well, I need to start Markanik? So who else drops out? Is it Tristan Traeger? Is it Arturo Rodriguez? So they're fighting for their spots. You look at Birmingham Legion, Nico Brett coming back in the team. Does he start in the playoffs or not? Again, you can have a lot of attacking talent, but sometimes you might need the odd defensive warrior in there. So all fighting for starting berths in the playoffs.
There's one of those direct balls you mentioned earlier that provides some danger here. Birmingham unable to maintain possession. Van Oekel threw that all the way through the middle of the field, and it was a 3-on-2 sequence for just a moment. But Charleston back in shape. Pasher trying to fire it back in the battery. Hitting it forward, but Williams called for the foul. We're a third of the way home in this matchup. The regular season finale between 2 teams that have clinched postseason berths. Charleston needs a draw or a win to be the team that can stake the claim to the best turnaround in USL Championship history. It's plus 31 points from a year ago. Birmingham has qualified for the postseason for the 5th year in a row. Ball hooks the chalk. Williams there to provide some pressure.
Yeah, it has been a fantastic season for Charleston Battery, but I think it also proves what a bad season last season was. It really, everything went wrong for them.
The ball whipped in. Flags up for offside. Nagadello slightly behind Juan Palma. Also goes to show Ben Pearman, last year's USL Coach of the Year with Memphis, the impact that he can make despite transitioning over here for year number 1. It was a team that did not lose its first match until April 29th. Got off to a great start this year, went through a little bit of the midseason doldrums, but maintained their positioning right near the top of the table all year long.
They just don't want to lose that impetus now. In their last match against Miami, Ben Pearman saying we played well, then second half we conceded a cheap penalty, and that was Mark Segbers who gave that away. And then we lost our discipline and tactical focus. There was another bit of bad play towards the end that cost them severely. They allowed a nice little ball over the top for Michael Salazar to get on the end of.
Segbers goes down. But it's a corner kick Fans asking for a penalty. Segber's in his third start with the Battery.
Some good battling going on there. Just stepping across and just does get his foot around it there. Colin Smith makes contact with the ball, I think fairly.
So here comes a corner.
See, the sun is in Matt Van Okel's eyes. He's got one of his hands just trying to block the sun, which is never, as a goalkeeper, you need both your hands, so it's never a good sign. You can see they've piled in a number of bodies in front of the goalkeeper to make it even more difficult.
Very congested right around Van Okel. The 6'4" goalkeeper. Arturo Rodriguez looking to measure this one flawlessly. Boomerangs it, back post, headed through. Williams, Markanek denied, and Markanek not denied the second time. In a pinch, it's Nick Markanek with his 9th goal of the season. Battery lead 1-0.
And that's a typical Battery goal under Ben Pearman. They just hustled and fought and battled and put the ball in dangerous areas and followed it up. And eventually they soared over the touchline there, but the corner coming in. The header won initially, question marks against Birmingham Legion. That's the second corner to come in the first half that has been won a little bit too easily by the Battery. Have a look here, decent ball in, up they go, header won. Then it's just a big scramble, and it comes out to Markanek. He has one effort, which gets blocked. Have a look, comes out. There's his first effort coming there. Goalkeeper Matt Van Okel makes a good save, but then he's quick to react to the next one and stick it in the back of the net. That's just desire for Nick Markanek to be in the starting lineup for the playoffs, and that will help him in his quest to prove himself to Ben Pearman.
Nick Markanek, the lone change, provides the dazzling play brought to you by Diamonds Direct, and a 1-0 lead for the Battery. And for the third match in a row, they have the advantage at the outset. Can they close this one out? You were just talking about it, about that Miami match. Felt like they had chances to perhaps go ahead 2-0, perhaps put an end to that one. Were never able to do so. Battling for the ball inside of the 18. They finished that one off, and we were talking about it at the beginning when you looked at the turnaround graphic that we had at the outset of the year. In terms of goal scoring, very similar to last season. It's been the defense that has been the difference. And when you play these tight matches this year, they have played a boatload of 1-goal contests. It's those moments, finishing those half chances, exactly what he wanted. And it's a 1-0 lead.
Well, you're right about the last match, because when Augie Williams gave them the lead, Traeger had a chance one-on-one with the keeper just before half-time and didn't take it, and then it was an error by Segbers to give away the penalty, and then suddenly 1-1 and Miami FC were back in the game. So I'm sure that Ben Pearman is not wanting to see that happen again, and a second goal would make the coach a lot more relaxed.
8th straight game for the Battery with a goal, and now 17 of the last 19 since June 10th. They've only been shut out twice. How does Birmingham respond now? Down by a goal. Battery out in front. 1-0. Williams brings it down. 2 men on him. Vying for the foul. Didn't get the call. Agudelo. This is a Birmingham team that has been prone to conceding. 6 most goals allowed in the league this year, 53 of them.
That was a comment I made a little bit earlier, is that perhaps you give too many attacking players. You need some of them to do the hard graft, the yards, the closing down, the sort of work that Chris Allen does on the Charleston Battery side, where Enzo Martinez is not that sort of player for me. He's much more creative, much more of a goal scorer. So too is Tyler Pasha. And they're both doing that sort of number 6, you call it, number 6 hard graft, and not sure they're the right players for that job. So it's a risky one from Tom Sohn. You look great going forward, but you become a little bit vulnerable in terms of defending.
See the sun shining. Flag should be up here for offside, and indeed it is. Kasim way out in front of everybody.
Look at that wind. You could see, well, you can't see it now on the flag so much, but above the goal there was a huge flag billowing in the wind. It's going to make it a little bit difficult with those cross-field passes. There we go. There's a nice nice shot. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman.
Enzo Martinez. Ikaza fouls him.
Enzo a little bit upset there. I think he's just showing the general frustration for a Birmingham side who just really haven't been able to test Trey Muse much yet. All that wonderful attacking talent that they have.
Birmingham have more shots, 7-6. Each side have put 2 on target. Marcanic's goal, however, is the Battery ahead, 1-0. Allen fires it forward. Van Oekel coming out, sure-handed there.
He timed that well, Matt Van Oekel. For a second, I thought he wasn't going to get there in time, but all the experience of the 36-year-old, he just plucks it off the attacker's head in style.
Kasim trots to the middle of the field. Fired through from Mensah. Rodriguez funnels it forward. Williams has done really well in coming back to hold the ball up. And yet again, his hustle ensures that a foul is drawn. Mensah the guilty party.
Mensah's adamant that he won the ball. There does seem to be some contact. Let's have a look at it again. To be fair, Arturo's lost the ball. Have a look here. His first touch, he loses it, and then I think that's fairly won, to be honest. I think he wins the ball and then there's contact. He certainly feels that way.
We're into the 40th minute. So 1-0 advantage for Charleston. Nick Marcanic scoring in the 34th minute. He's the difference in the match right now. And Gary Bailey taking you through this one on the final day of the USL Championship's regular season. Can't watch the match? Turn it on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app.
Good spell here for Birmingham Legion since they went 1-0 down. They've controlled a lot of the possession. Just again, haven't been able to find that crucial moment to get in the box and hammer something at Trey Muse.
Lifting this ball forward, Smith the intended target. Comes back out, Martinez. Martinez fires! Ambitious and wide.
Well, most players, I'd say that's too far out, but for Enzo Martinez, the way he scores, it's always worth a try for the Uruguayan. In the end, was quite a bit off target, but he's certainly getting upset and trying to drive his team forward, and his energy might lift Birmingham Legion. Sort of 30 yards out in the end, Trey Muse just waves that past the post.
Martinez, a second consecutive 10-plus goal season. Williams. Houston take the throw. Foul whistled on Williams this time. Birmingham fire back before the end of the first half. takeaway. Rodriguez strong to it. Has runners to his right. Rodriguez debates. Kaza spins around.
Just felt that Rodriguez had a nice option there. Tristan Traeger made a run to his right, was through, just didn't quite see the run or couldn't pick out the pass to him. Opportunity lost for Rodriguez.
Archer plays this one forward. Rodriguez this time does elect to go to Traeger. Traeger winds it through. Cleared away. Williams the closest man. Johnson ready to throw this ball in. Williams comes over. It's poked away, and it's a corner kick coming up. The Battery will get their fourth. They scored off of their last corner.
All right, Battery fans.
Koenig cleaning up attempts after Van Oekel punched one away.
Well, they scored off their last one. They had a free header from a previous one, so Birmingham with some work to do here. Haven't been impressive so far defending corners.
Rodriguez again delivers, finds it back post. Whistle, second ball taken by the Battery, fire right back in. Knocked out by Traeger, or Markanik rather, and he was offside. Up, slams on the brakes and gives it away.
Okay, good pressuring from Charleston Battery. They really haven't allowed Birmingham to get too much on the front foot. Birmingham have showed some neat touches in midfield, but nothing that really gets at the heart of that Charleston Battery defense. That's something that Tom Soam will have to try and fix in the second half.
Extra time is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. 1 minute of added time in the first half.
The fourth officials indicated 1 minute of extra time.
Zegbers.
1 minute. Injury time brought to you by MUSC.
Rodriguez flings it forward. This is Markanik. And how about Van Oekel? Stands tall and denies Markanik a brace.
And that's a good save from Van Oekel. Not easy. Good play down this right-hand side. Rodriguez is going to get the ball headed first time. Markanik is through, cuts inside, goes past Croniale, and then hits it. The goalkeeper should make the save. It's above his head. Should be able to get to it, but still you've got to have the reflexes to get your hand in the right place, and that's exactly what Matt Van Oekel does.
Another corner for the Battery. As we just mentioned, very dangerous in these moments. And likely the final chance of this first half for either side. Rodriguez awaits the whistle. And now, just as he's kicking it, a whistle comes. And let's see what happens here.
Markanik getting pushed around and then got shoved in the eye.
Taboritaka in there as well. Both sides having an argument. Markanik, the 23-year-old.
Keep an eye on, there's a lot of bodies in there, and I think he's saying he got pushed in the face. There's a bit of shoving, body shoving there. And then a bump of head somehow. Just keep an eye on that area just in front of Matt Van Oekel.
Austin Ciani will certainly be studying. As Rodriguez fires this one. Once again, it found a black and gold jersey, but this ball cleared away, and the first half whistle blows. It's Charleston 1, Birmingham 0 at halftime. What do you think of what we saw through the first half?
Yeah, decent performance by Charleston Battery. They've worked hard, they've done the job. Marcanics found the back of the net, and they've threatened from set pieces, corners in particular. For Birmingham Legion, defensively not tight enough, haven't offered much in attack of the away side, and I'm sure Tom Sohn will be looking to change things around and get something more on the front foot, give Trey Muse a little bit more to work, or more work to be done in that second half. That will be Tom Sohn's aim when he goes into the locker room.
It is Nick Marcanics' 9th goal of the season that have the Battery out in front. Two sides in the playoffs, already in playoff mode. Battery 1, Legion 0. We'll come back with our halftime report next.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
Charleston leads Birmingham 1-0 at halftime. For an update on how things are going around the rest of the Battery community, take a look at this. Well, we mentioned him at the outset. Fidel Barajas, the 17-year-old, has put together quite the campaign. And earlier this week, he was named to the Guardian's Next Generation 2023, which is the British newspaper's annual report of the top 60 young soccer players across the globe. Among other players from North America that have been honored on this list, Christian Pulisic, Alphonso Davies, Tim Weah, Gio Reyna, and many others. The inclusion of Next Generation 2023 comes on the heels of Barajas' banner year. He won the CONCACAF U17 championship with Mexico, scored 3 goals, had 5 assists, and he leads the team and is one of the league leaders with 9 assists this year. Charleston has the lead 1-0 on Birmingham. Final weekend of the regular season in the USL. What happened in that Detroit-Pittsburgh match? We set the stage for the night when we come back.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
1-0 Charleston leads Birmingham at halftime. Time to take a look around what's happening in the USL here in the final weekend of the regular season. Pittsburgh claiming the USL's 2023 championship Players Shield. Be sure to pre-register now for the USL Championship's playoff bracket challenge presented by Hisense. Go to uslchampionship.com/playoffs. And a reminder that the final is on Sunday, November 12th at 9 p.m. on ESPN2. The playoffs begin October 20th with select matches on Sirius XM FC channel 157 and every game on ESPN+. This is from last week, that Birmingham victory over Monterey Bay that clinched the postseason for Birmingham, and Monterey falling off, but Detroit fails to put a shot on target and falls to Pittsburgh. That just happened. So that means that Sacramento needs to beat Miami for Detroit to make the postseason, as those sides are both on 41 points apiece. And of course, Lou City and Tampa Bay, those teams typically meet in the Eastern Conference Final. Should be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, tough one for Lou City, but they need to win that to get that potentially get that fourth spot and be at home, which they're pretty much used to over the years. And Detroit, well, they've got the 1 point, not easy against top in the East, and although the job hasn't been completely done, they're very dependent on what Sac Republic do to Miami. At least they've given themselves a chance. Then last night, New Mexico, congrats again on making the playoffs with that 4-1 thumping of Memphis.
FC Tulsa beats Hartford last night as well, and this is what the playoff bracket would look like at this point. Charleston could face Indy 11, Birmingham, or Lou City, the way things play out, but as of right now, it's Indy 11, while Birmingham would have a trip to Tampa Bay if the season ended right now.
Yeah, all exciting games, but again, if I was Birmingham Legion, I probably would prefer to play Charleston away, although it's not going to be easy, than Tampa Bay Riders. There's something about Tampa Bay. They are such a good side on their day. Whereas Charleston, they might just get lucky and catch them as San Antonio did. They beat them 7-0 there at Patriots Point earlier in the season.
We'll know more by the end of this evening. Final day of the USL Championship's regular season. The Battery looking to snap the two-match skid. Birmingham looking for a comeback. Highlights, stats, and the second half kick comes your way next.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
Charleston leading it 1-0, looking to complete the regular season sweep of Birmingham here this evening. Michael Watrang, Gary Bailey back with you. And time to take a look at the highlights from the opening 45 minutes of play between two sides that have clinched postseason berths. And we get started in the 4th minute. How about this from Nico Brett from the middle of the field? Trey Muse had to come up.
Yeah, I think he just sees Trey Muse off his line and thinks, can I chip him? Instead it goes slightly wide. Trey Muse taking no chances whatsoever, launching himself across his goal there to make the save. But that's always the risk if the keeper plays that sort of sweeper roll on the edge of the box. But to be fair, that was the only chance really I felt in that first half. Mechanic working really hard, and they eventually get Traeger on the ball here. He turns and whips that one just part of the, or just towards the keeper, who makes a good save and knocks it just wide of the goal.
There were 8 shots per team in the first half. Birmingham took their moment here in the middle of the half. This is Agudelo on the back post. Unable to put the ball on frame, but you can see the attacking prowess of Birmingham at moments. And then in the 25th minute, more from Charleston. This is Mark Segbers out wide, and Traeger did so well to glide this ball through.
Yeah, and Augie Williams nearly on the end of it. Again, I've got to give credit to Matt Van Oekel. I'm assuming he got a touch there and just takes it away from Augie Williams' foot. But here comes this ball in. Derek Dodson does really well to win the first header. Marcanic has a shot saved and then bundles it over the line. Matt Van Oekel with the first save, but Nick Marcanic just kept on going. But credit to Derek Dodson for winning that header initially, and he beat Jake Ruth to the ball, and that's what caused all the problems.
Marcanic scores for the 9th time this season, and then toward the tail end of the first half, it was Enzo Martinez dialing one up from well outside of the area, unable to put something on frame. There have been several chances for Birmingham, but so far no scores. And yet again at the end of the first half in stoppage time, Nick Marcanic found some space. Van Oekel comes up with a save to keep the score at 1-0 in favor of the Charleston Battery. Halftime stats brought to you by Heineken. 5 shots on target for the Battery. They've had more possession as well. And how did the Legion come out here in the second half trying to get some more goal-scoring opportunities?
Well, that's exactly what they need to do. They need to make some changes and make things happen. The XG as it stands, expected goals, 1.22 for Charleston, just 0.24 for Legion. So they're a whole goal behind in opportunities created. And guess what? They're a whole goal behind in real time as well. So they need to take heart from what Miami did last week. They came from 1-0 down to beat Charleston. In fact, El Paso came from 2-1 down in the match before that to beat Charleston. Can Birmingham Legion do the same in the second half?
Charleston side that was unbeaten in 5 in a row until that El Paso match and then the Miami match. And one thing that Ben Pierman echoed about those 2 matches is you had desperate teams that were trying to do anything that they could to keep their playoff hopes and bids alive. And he wants to see his team come out with maybe a little bit of that same fire and intensity, because the playoffs start next week. And it's a Charleston group that he said they love the year. They're happy with this season, but they're hungry and want more.
Birmingham were down against Memphis. They were 1-0 down, and they came back to win 2-1. So as much as Charleston Battery have thrown away a couple of good leads, Birmingham have managed to come back from being down. So it's there for them. But I've got a funny feeling that Ben Pemman would have said to his Charleston battery guys, don't you dare throw away a lead again. So pressure's all on Birmingham Legion.
45 minutes left to decide this one in the regular season finale. The whistle blows. Birmingham gets the opening possession there in the whites. It's the black and yellow for Charleston here inside of Patriots Point in the Palmetto State. Michael Watring, Gary Bailey, our entire crew, inviting you to come in and hang out with us for the second half of this matchup. Earlier this season, it was Charleston with a comeback after falling behind at the outset of the first half. Late in that first half, scoring twice late to take down Birmingham on the road. To the roles reversed here today. No changes at halftime between either of these sides' 11.
I think there's going to certainly be changes, as there is in every match these days as it moves on. But certainly from Birmingham's point of view, if they don't get a breakthrough, they'll look to their bench, and Wegbo's there. He got a goal and an assist when they beat Memphis 2-1 away 2 matches ago. So you think he'd be the ideal person to bring off the bench, and maybe Matty Corcoran to do some of the hard yards in midfield as well.
Van Okel is going to come over, take this free kick. Sun beaming right through the middle of the field. Balls from that opposite side of where our camera crew is. Very difficult to read for the keepers. Will that play any kind of factor in this second half? Legion have won 3 times this season when trailing at halftime, while Charleston have won 8 out of 10 tries that they've had when holding the lead at the break. Here's Mensah. Runs into the shade. This is a great run by Dodson. Continues to carry. Dodson takes a tumble. Martinez time the tackle right.
That's a good tackle from Enzo Martinez, because Dodson was on a real tear there. Flew up the pitch and he was going at pace.
Now Williams fires it through. Birmingham controls for a moment, and then a foul is whistled, much to the disdain of the fans and the players on Charleston's side.
Just checking, no yellow cards as yet. Am I correct?
That is correct.
In which case it's been a really well-played match, fairly played, no nastiness. There was a bit of pushing and shoving in the box for one corner, but other than that, it's 2 teams that are playing with a good spirit so far. Whether that's the case when the playoffs begin remains to be seen. There's a lot more at stake, obviously, in those sort of matches, but it's good to see that the players are focusing on their skills rather than the off-the-ball incidents.
They haven't had that many reasons to stop play, and of course, as I say that, we get one. Well, one thing about Birmingham is they have a league low 4 draws this season. Only Loudon has the equal number. So when you watch Birmingham, you can typically see one team get a win. 14 wins, 15 draws, or 14 wins, 15 losses, 4 draws for the year. The number 7 team in the East.
Charleston Battery have home field advantage through the first round of the USL Championship playoffs. We hope to see you there. Get those tickets online.
The Battery have a brand new look on and off the field this year thanks to Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including the custom 2023 primary, secondary, and alternate kits by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. Foul there. Come the 3 Sparks. Agudelo. Brett. Preston. Preston fires. Muse smothers.
That's one of the few saves that Muse has had to make. And he does well. And that's what Ben Pemman wants from this man. He's still young at 24 years of age, but he's not a youngster as such, and he needs his goalkeeper to be solid as they head into the playoffs. And he knows, Ben Pearman, that it's the clean sheets that win you those championship matches. If you don't concede, like Orange County showed a couple of seasons ago when they went on to be champions, you can win games with just the odd goal here and there, maybe even just going to penalties. The moment you start conceding, then you start chasing games and you can make more errors. So a lot dependent, according to Ben Pearman, on the form of Trey Muse.
Used 19 clean sheets over the last 2 years. 8 with Memphis a year ago, a club record. 11 more this year. Ball takes a redirect. Muse is coming out, but not wasting any opportunities there. Headed away by Palma, and a corner kick now coming for the Legion.
His goalkeeper was right behind him, Palma, but I don't think he could afford to leave it. He wasn't sure. And the golden rule for a centre-back, if you're not sure if your keeper's coming or not, just head it clear.
Asher's ready. Nice corner kick. Asher boots it with the left foot all the way across. Charleston gets the first ball. Rodriguez brings it down. Looks to keep his run going. He's got Augie Williams. It's intercepted in the back, and a foul is whistled. Jake Roof stepped over, and Williams called for the foul.
That was a lovely play out of defense, wasn't it? Just breaking the lines there. Augie Williams helps the opposition up to their feet, which is, again, has been played in a good spirit this match. But yeah, good break down the right-hand side there by Charleston Battery, breaking the pressure, nearly getting Augie Williams away.
It's the only match currently going right now in the USL Championship. The next window starts at 7:30. Thanks for tuning in with us. Charleston leading at 1-0 on a Nick Markanek 33rd minute goal. Foul whistled against the Battery. Free kick coming here for Birmingham.
Rodriguez just doing a good job of slowing things down there, which he's entitled to do up to a point. I'm never quite sure what that point is. How close to the ball can you be? If you actually block the shot, you'll get a yellow card, but if you're a foot or two away, then there's a difference. So he does the right thing. He doesn't get himself into trouble, but just slowed down Birmingham Legion there, enough to get his defenders back into position.
This ball sent forward. Funneled through. Brett was the target from Pasher. His back line for Charleston tonight has been passing every test.
I think if there's any one thing that Ben Pearman's done, and I think you mentioned the point earlier on in the broadcast, he's made them defensively sound. You know, are they good in attack? Yes, but they're very good in defense. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody works really hard.
Whip through, Muse catches.
Runs into his own player in the process, Trey Muse. He's waiting for the ref to blow the whistle for treatment. That's what you want from your goalkeeper, not to hit your own players, of course, but you want him to be decisive, come get the ball, dominate that box, and he does it really well. And it's up to the players and defenders to get out the way.
To your point, there were two blips on the radar. The 7-0 loss to San Antonio, the 4-0 loss to Indy that you had mentioned earlier this year. You take those two matches away, they've given up 32 goals in 32 matches.
Wow.
And that is certainly something for Ben Pearman that we talked about throughout the year. Are they as bad as perhaps those matches were? Not necessarily. Were they as good as some of their other results? You know, he has been very grounded all year long, but when you look at the entirety of the body of work, those matches are the outliers, and their performance has been consistent for much of this year, and a big reason why. They sit at number 3 in the Eastern Conference table and hope for a deep run. When the playoffs begin next weekend, they will host at 4 p.m. here at Patriot Point. As it stands now, it's Indy 11 coming to town.
in a very funny way. I think the 7-0 hammering by San Antonio actually just brought them down to earth because they were flying. I think they might even have been top at that stage. And they were flying, and I think I spoke to Ben Pearman shortly afterwards, and he said, you know what, nobody likes to get beat 7, but he said, you know, maybe we can take a positive from that, and that it'll stop our players thinking that they're better than they actually are. So in a strange way, it probably worked to their advantage.
They were 5-1-3 at the time, at top of the East. And lost that match 7-0 to San Antonio. That was in mid-May. Came back, won the next two, and then got trounced by Indy 11 4-0.
If I remember correctly, there was a sending off in the 2nd or 3rd minute. The centre-back got sent off, and they felt that they were playing with 10 men, and they had to attack the game a little bit and left them vulnerable to counter-attack. So that definitely was an outlier, that Indy match at home.
Birmingham on the other side will look for their first true win in the playoffs next week. In 2021, they were given the win when Pittsburgh was forced to forfeit, would lose to Tampa Bay in the Eastern semifinals that year. And a year ago, it was devastating. 2-2, a draw against Pittsburgh. They lose 8-7 in penalties. Traeger fires this one through. Marcanic got a piece of it. It goes wide, though.
Marcanic very, very close there. Imagine a second goal that would have almost certainly have got him a starting berth in the playoffs next week. That's where he's dangerous. He's got this height. So when he can get in the box late, he can make those runs. If Augie Williams isn't there, then Marcanic becomes a good second option. Traeger with the cross. And in fact, he actually gets there rather comfortably. Croniale not doing a good job there to stop him. And maybe he should have done more with that header, Nick Marcanic.
There is that sub that you had mentioned earlier, the 10th leading goal scorer in the league. Nico Brett really hasn't played that much of a role in this match, is coming out. Diba Wegbo is coming in, the 21-year-old who scored 3 times so far this year. Places Brett in the 11.
He just offers something different in Wegbo, both in terms of assists and in terms of scoring goals. Got the 1 assist and the goal in that 2-1 win at Memphis. I think you have to try something like that. I mean, to be fair to Tom Soane, he's been very positive, playing Nico Brett up front with Agudelo and Preston, and he had in Kasim, Pasha, Martinez. But it hasn't quite worked for whatever reason. Now he's going to try something slightly different, and let's see if Charleston Battery are able to adapt.
Koenig draws the foul. Not about restarting quickly. Instead, Rodriguez will step over. Plenty of young stars on the field right now for both sides. Augie Williams is still just 25 years of age. He is very experienced, but otherwise you have Rodriguez at 24, Marcanic at 23, Traeger at 23 for Charleston. Rodriguez readies. Bends that one to the top of the 18. Martinez, the first player for either side to intercept. Segbers fires it back down the field. Headed forward, Traeger hustling. Traeger gets there first. Marcanic instead drops it back. Nobody in particular the target on that pass. A foul whistled. Palma came over. Still have not seen a card. That one doesn't warrant anything, even though Preston Tabordataka is asking for one.
Yeah, that was borderline. To me, that's a professional foul because he's taken Preston out. Knew the ball was going to be a danger if Preston was able to hold it up. So I think that could have been worthy of a yellow, but as long as the referee's consistent, then I don't think the players will complain.
Him looking to equalize. There's a foul. There's a little bit of extracurriculars. A card has come out for the first time. Sides needing to be separated.
That was a bad tackle from Tyler Pasher. His foot was up, and Ben Pearman's obviously asking for more than the yellow. It was a dangerous one, but possibly a yellow is enough. Have a look at it again as you go. Have a look there. To me, he keeps his studs down, to be fair to him. Let's have a look at it again. Now he's late, he catches the ankle, but the studs are down, so I think a yellow, maybe a little warning is a fair response from referee Austin Siani.
First booking of the match. Yellow cards brought to you by Sping's Convenience Stores, located across South Carolina. Line past the 1 hour mark in this match. It is Charleston on top 1-0. They're locked into the number 3 seed. Birmingham, currently the number 7, would need a win and an Indy loss to move up to number 6. Michael Watcher and Gary Bailey and our crew watching this match with you on a Saturday evening. Segbers, Augie Williams can't hold on to it. Enzo Martinez fires that one through the middle of the defense, but Trey Muse alert to it, and nobody making a run.
It hasn't quite worked for them in attack, has it, Birmingham Legion? All the quality they have, just not able to find each other with the important passes. Maybe time to push Enzo Martinez a little bit higher up, because he's better for me with the short 5 to 10 yard passes as opposed to these 25-yard longer ones. So maybe we'll see some changes in midfield at some stage, in particular if Matty Corcoran comes on and takes more the defensive role in mid.
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play, download now. After both sides were heavy on attacks in the opening half, each side has tallied just one shot so far through the first third of the second half. Arcanic trying to get the edge. Smith, and a foul is whistled as Segbers was gliding through. And then some extracurriculars, some pushing and shoving. Segbers comes in with a little bit of late contact. Jake Roof started everything. Now things starting to find some of that playoff passion.
Now, every player wants to have his say, and every player wants to blame the opposition, and referees, I feel sorry for them in situations. I sometimes feel they should just tell everyone to go away while they can make up their mind as to what's going on. But definitely a little bit of shoving and pushing off the ball there. I'd like to think there wasn't any punches thrown. I just saw a few hands going, but maybe we'll see a chance. Again, referee doesn't have all the advantage of seeing the slow-mo. I thought this was, oh, he was pulling. That's why there was a call then. And what happens here? He keeps going. Oh, and then Roof has a little bit of a go there. So that's where it starts from. Roof having a go, then pushing and shoving. So, and I always think, if you're going to talk to players, let the referee be the one to chase somebody up. And Roof takes things into his own hands here. Understandably so, because Segbers, when the whistle goes, is just delaying. But you can't go after him and then lunge at a tackle. So I think Jake Roof a little bit lucky there not to get a yellow card.
Mark Segbers goes in the books. Yellow cards brought to you by Spinks Convenience Stores located across South Carolina. So Jake Roof did end up getting a yellow.
Okay.
It was after the fact, and I believe that there was a yellow card shown to the Birmingham bench as well.
So 10 minutes ago, I was saying no yellow cards, and it's all being played in the right spirit. And then, as getting chippier by the moment, obviously Birmingham really frustrated that they just haven't been able to get going against the very solid, as they have been all season, solid Charleston battery defense. Reminds me a little bit of Pittsburgh Riverhounds when I watch them. You can't find gaps in their defense, and every team almost every team that plays Riverhounds complains of the same thing, is that on paper they might not look like they're the best team in the East, but try playing against them. You just can't find fault. Well, so far Charleston Battery have been very good defensively.
The Battery entered this match having given up multiple goals in 3 of the last 4. They've been nearly perfect tonight. Rodriguez twirls. Rodriguez wanted a foul. Ball won cleanly. Wigbo. The yellow card to the bench was actually on Fanuel Cavita, 30-year-old defender who was on the bench as a reserve in this match. Now ironing out more fouls in the middle of the field. Charleston ready to make their first change of the day. Arturo Rodriguez sees his shift come to a close, and Beto Avila comes in.
He put in a good shift. Rodriguez had some nice little touches, some nice creative moments. Seems to be a little bit upset that he's coming off, but he should have a good chance of starting in the playoffs next week.
And Rodriguez gets a yellow card for time wasting as he saunters off the pitch. Yellow cards brought to you by Spinks Convenience Stores through South Carolina. One key that Ben Pierman did have was giving players like Arturo Rodriguez and Mark Segbers more action in a game situation. Segbers, as we had mentioned, has been with the club for just a couple weeks now. This is his 3rd start since joining the team on September 22nd.
Got a few other bodies on the bench. Andrew Booth scored a couple of goals this season. Declan Wynn, who was the regular left back, and now Mark Segbers challenging for that position. So again, plenty of fresh legs for Ben Pierman to bring on if he wants.
Frustration really setting in for both sides. Wegbo whistled for a foul. Side had 8 shots in the first half, just 1 apiece here in the second half. Tamordataka took one in the 50th minute. Marcanic had one moments after. Williams hits in Wegbo right in the face. Wegbo doesn't go down, so play continues. Williams with 3 defenders providing a caravan. Williams slings it through. Sprawling effort by Marcanic. Wanted a redirect. Does not get it. And it's a goal kick.
I do think his aerial ability and his general fight is giving him a great chance of being in the lineup next week for that first playoff match. He battled to get the goal. He's thrown his head at a few crosses and been on the end of a few little half chances. That could be all the difference in a playoff match.
It's Allen stepping up. Avila. Pushed to the ground and a foul is whistled. Gronyale.
The big boys going in there for Charleston Battery. Leland Archer going towards that far post area. Derek Dodson as well.
Emilio Icaza slings this one right in the middle of the field. Van Oekel had no trouble with that.
You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to get it far post, but with a bit of bend on it. But in the end, it was in the center of the box, and goalkeeper as he has done throughout this match, nice and confident, comes and collects. The time's running out here for Birmingham Legion. And it's not just the result I think Tom Sohn will be looking at. He'll be looking at, we're going to be on the road, by the looks of it, away at Tampa next week. You know, what do we like on the road? Can we get stuck in? Can we work ourselves into good positions? Hasn't been the case so far in this match, and away from home, they haven't always had good results. They lost at Rio Grande, and they did win against Memphis, but before that, lost at Rio Grande, lost 3-0 at San Diego. That was a bit of a hammering, lost 4-0 at Indy. So, and they lost 2-1 at Colorado Springs Switchback. So, you know, it hasn't been a good spell on the road for Birmingham, and I think that's what probably is worrying Tom Sohn with this performance. They haven't really threatened Trey Muse as yet.
Martinez trying to change that on this quarter. Avila nods it away. Avila ricochets that ball out off of the assistant referee. It'll be a throw here for Birmingham.
A little bit of a grimace from the assistant ref there, but hopefully he's going to be okay. Never nice when you get hit, is it? This is right on the head. Occupational hazard.
Fine work there from Pasher. Avila doing well defensively for the forward. Williams the target. A little latch up to that one, Roof. Martinez. How's up? Marcanic just mishits that and sends it to the bleachers.
We just saw about 30 seconds ago another Enzo Martinez, 30-yarder that never found its target. Again, you know, just a personal point of view, but I prefer him attacking midfield, around the fringes, little 5-yard passes, head up. He's such a clever player. I just don't think the 30-yard passes from deep in midfield are really his scene.
Segbers again stepping up on an interception. There is no foul. Segbers back to the second ball. Spins, pivots, and lays it back. Ikaza. Just let that ball glide underneath his feet. Charleston's the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. They will host next weekend, Sunday. 4 p.m. is kickoff against the likes of either Lou City, Indy 11, or this Birmingham team. But Birmingham need to come back to win this match and have Indy 11 lose to make this trip again. Meanwhile, Birmingham can be either the 7 or the 6. Williams catches the defender wrong-footed, and Williams skies one.
Did so well there, Augie Williams, just to cut inside, open up his angle on his right foot, and you could see what he was trying to do, top corner, but just couldn't quite pull it off.
Two changes for Birmingham. It's going to be Gabriel Alves and Matthew Corcoran coming in. They replace Kasim and Pasher.
Slightly more solid midfield players, less flair in attack perhaps, but maybe they can get a grip of this midfield for Birmingham Legion.
How does Birmingham handle these final 15 minutes or so? How desperate are they for at least an equalizer here tonight? USL Championship playoffs are here. Catch all the action on ESPN Plus beginning October 20th with select matches on Sirius XM FC 157. The season concludes with the USL Championship final, November 12th on ESPN2. Roughly a quarter hour left in this one. Charleston won thanks to a Nick Marcanic goal in the 33rd minute. Birmingham 0. Michael Wattrain, Gary Bailey, and our entire crew taking you through the final 15 minutes of this regular season finale between two teams that prepare for the postseason next week. Wegbo is asking for a foul, left a huge divot on the field. Avila takes a tumble and draws the foul.
Cleverly draws the foul. 15 minutes to go. Just want to kill the game, slow it down. These are little professional touches that we didn't see as much of last year with Charleston Battery. They've really got a nice combination of grinding out games, you know, grabbing goals when they can, holding on to them. The last two matches excluded, of course, where they've started well and got ahead in games and let them go. But again, Ben Pearman just saying that they've taken their foot off the pedal now. They've qualified. They shouldn't have done, but I guess human nature. But they're just a frustrating side to play against, as Birmingham Legion are finding out right now.
We were mentioning Birmingham and their struggles on the road. In their last 12, they've only won 3 road matches. Here's Marcanic off of ricochet. Marcanic, Avila misses the cage entirely. Could have put it away.
That's a bad miss from Avila. So beautifully set up by Marcanic. He's just got to get over the ball. The first thing that goes to your head is don't sky the ball. Yeah, Ben Pearman can't believe it. Just get it on target. If somebody blocks it on the line, so be it. But Marcanic really having a fantastic match. So quick there. Runs in, waits for the keeper to come, and then sets up Avila. And if you just keep the ball down, and if the defender blocks it, well, congrats defender, but you can't put it over the bar there. Lucky for him that this isn't a playoff match, otherwise I think Ben Pearman would have something to say about it.
Ben Pearman talked about half chances. That's a whole chance and then some. Only able to finish there from Pedro Avila.
Again, Marcanic, just crucial moments in the match. He waited till Matt Van Oekel came out. The keeper was off his line, had to come, and then he just squares it to Avila for what should have been a tap in. And really, he's created assists. He's scored a goal, Marcanic. He's got on the end of a few crosses. It's been a fabulous match by the young man. And when Barajas comes back next week, they're going to have to find a gap for Marcanic somewhere in this team, I would think.
Avila with a slide tackle here, going on 30 minutes without a shot. Here's Birmingham, and a foul whistled. Martinez restarts quickly.
You can see Matty Corcoran on the ball here is playing the deeper role, and Enzo Martinez is up on the edge of the box where I think he can be a bit more dangerous.
Wegbo rolls that one around. Marcanic will be asked to get this one away. Does just that. Now Allen. Traeger. Leaves it off. Dodson. Back Traeger. Stabbed away by Roof. Traeger commits the foul. No card coming out here. As I was mentioning about Birmingham before, this is the 15th consecutive road match where they've given up at least 1 goal. They haven't had a road clean sheet since April 1st.
Wow. Well, that is worrying, bearing in mind they are going to be on the road for the first game of the playoffs. Like I say, they're a very attack-minded side, and their lineup was literally 5 attackers playing in midfield. There was no one doing the defensive duties, and sometimes wonder, as exciting as that is, and again, positive points to Tom Sohn for wanting to attack. You just wonder if the balance isn't quite right there, whether the Matty Corcorans have to start to allow the likes of Enzo Martinez to push higher up.
You can trust their team to help get you back in
Koenig on the ground right now. He's really been the best player on the pitch all evening long. There's the goal in the 33rd minute. And it's held up to this point. Charleston will make 2 changes. Mark Koenig is going to be subbed off. Andrew Booth is going to come in. Declan Wynn is going to replace Tristan Traeger. Those 2 changes happening right now.
Substitutions for the Charleston Battery in the 80th minute.
Charleston making those changes, perhaps with an eye to defend a little bit stronger down the stretch, and Augie Williams will now be the lone man left up top. Less than 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go in the regular season finale. Silvers has been all over the yard on an acquisition that he has been right before the roster freeze for the playoffs. Williams fouled. This one given.
Seem to be in much of a hurry, do they, Charleston? It's working the clock down.
Cincinnati didn't seem to mind either. These are those moments that you have to have. How do you hold on to a 1-0 lead when you get into the playoffs? The team might be exerting all their energy. Avila.
One of the main things you do is you get the ball in their half and keep them there, which is what they're doing. You attack them, you get balls behind their back 4, and then when you lose possession, you try and keep them in their half for the obvious reason that as long as they're there in their half, they can't score. And that just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of graft, a lot of team play, but you can see that Charleston Battery shirts are hunting in packs.
Foul from Avila. Open things up here for Birmingham.
However, the most important thing is when a chance comes to make a 2-0 like Avila had, you take the chance. Because that really does sort of put a lid on this match. Now, Charleston Battery have to keep working right up until the final moment.
Ikaza. And his sights set on the additional runner there, Wynn. Instead, Van Okel fires it forward, hoping for a counter from his group.
Interesting, Declan Wynn playing on that right side. Normally he's a lefty, but obviously Ben Pearman, what seems obvious to me anyways, that he's happy with Segbers at the left back role, and you think for Declan Wynn, he's not going to get a starting berth in the first playoff match next week if what we see on the pitch is anything to go by.
Goes up. Good down the yard. How do you diagnose where these 2 teams are at based off of tonight going into the playoffs next week?
I think Charleston Battery, obviously, they're going to have home ground advantage next week, but they've just been a solid side all year for almost all of their matches. They're well organized, they're well balanced throughout the team. I think they've got a great chance next week of going through to the next round for Birmingham Legion away at Tampa Bay if results go the way we think they will. Wow. That's a really, really hard match. They're going to have to be a lot better than today, I would think, to beat Tampa Bay away.
If this stands, that is indeed how things would be. Birmingham would travel to Tampa. And then if Lou City loses to Tampa tonight and Indy 11 wins at San Antonio, it would be Charleston and Lou City in the conference quarterfinals. Otherwise, it'll be Charleston and Indy 11 here next week on Sunday, the 22nd.
beating San Antonio away is not something that many teams do. So, yeah, I'll go with the Indy option. Charleston versus Indy at home here at Patriots Point. Got to fancy them. And not that Indy aren't a very good side, and having won 4-0 here earlier in the season, but different time, different game. Certainly Charleston will be the favorites, but Indy are good enough, most certainly, to get a win if Charleston aren't at their best.
In those scenarios as well, if Lou City beats Tampa, they could be the number 4 seed. There's a dangerous play from Muse, as Preston was coming in, and that is going to be a yellow card on the goalkeeper. Not sure how Ben Pierman will feel about that decision from Trey Muse to come out there.
He doesn't need to. I mean, you've got Leland Archer right there doing the job. He needs to stay at home there, because you know, you do that in a playoff match and your tackle's not a good one, that could be a red card. So just stay out of it. You don't need to be there.
Yellow cards brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores located across South Carolina, and it's going to be A.J. Cochran and A.J. Patterson. Coming in, with Segbers and Ikaza coming out.
It's a classic case of getting on 2 big defenders to deal with aerial balls and kick everything clear and just really bunker down and make sure that they get this win.
Official was bringing them in. Winston Ciani still walking around in the middle of the 18-yard box, and now Ikaza is coming off the field. Those changes will happen right now. Cochran and Patterson coming in.
Done well, Mark Segbers, after the last match and giving away the penalty when they were 1 up against Miami. You would have felt that he was under pressure to put in a good performance, and he certainly has here today. Like I said, looks like he will get that starting berth at left back ahead of Declan Wynn. You never know. We'll find out next week.
Free kick coming here for the Legion. Slung through. Allen intercepts. Roof trying to take the shot. Now Mensah. Here's Martinez. Ball takes a couple ricochets. Allen again fires it away, but the pressure continuing to build. Martinez punches it. Sent right back out. And now a change being made from Birmingham. Grayson DuPont coming in, Juan Agudelo coming out. Agudelo will make the quick sprint over. DuPont coming in. Roughly 2 minutes or so left. If this holds, Charleston would have the biggest turnaround in the history of the league. Here's Preston skying it out. Take a bounce off of a Charleston boot. Corner kick coming up for the Legion.
Well, this is where those changes of A.J. Cochran and A.J. Patterson start to make sense. More and more balls getting flung into the boxes. Birmingham can see the end of the match arriving.
Beautiful night here in the Palmetto State. Battery looking to send their fans home with a reason for celebration, while Birmingham trying to spoil it. Reverse the role when the Battery won in the first minute of stoppage time in the first meeting this year. Cross comes in. Muse watches on the back post. Dealt with all that cleanly. Roof had the ball ricochet off of his chest.
A.J. Cochran with the clearance there, which is exactly why Ben Pierman brought him on, to do that sort of job.
Smith trying to go across the yard. Unsuccessful at that. To the ground, didn't bother Mensah. the 18 it goes and shielded away. Preston watches it out. And it's a goal kick coming.
A little bit of use of the shoulder there from Leland Archer, very cleverly, just to make sure that no one can get past him.
Extra time is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. 5 more minutes to go in this one with the Battery leading at 1-0.
The fourth official has indicated 5 minutes of extra time.
It was a plus 31 point turnaround from a year ago. As it stands right now, a plus 34 point differential from last season to this season for the Battery. And it would stand as the greatest turnaround in USL Championship history. Real Monarchs from 2016 to 2017 and FC Cincinnati in 2017 to 2018 both turned it around by 31 points. And the Battery 5 minutes away or so from having the best single season turnaround in the history of the league and winning a 17th match this year after collecting just 25 points all of last season. Ball out of bounds. Charleston eyeing a 12th clean sheet. Augie Williams. He was the closest man to it. This one's going to go out. And it's a goal kick coming. And Ogle has to go quickly now for Birmingham, who has just 2 second-half shots and went nearly 40 minutes between chances in the second half.
Yeah, if this result holds, it really hasn't been that good a performance by Birmingham. They haven't threatened an attack. They haven't given Trey Muse much to bother him. And going away to Tampa Bay Rowdies is going to have to be, you would think, it's going to have to be a lot improved from here. And to be fair, it's not the end of the world. There's nothing really at stake as the ball goes through.
Wegbo. That ball slung through, and it goes wide. Muse nearly caught. A little too aggressive. Charleston asking for offside. Never got it.
Yeah, this is a good ball through, and Wegbo sort of tries to create something, but who's the danger on the end of it all there? And that's that man from midfield, Enzo Martinez. That's where he's at his best, on the edge of the box, threatening. Just when I was talking up Charleston, having given nothing away, they give up that chance there. Trey Muse once again just a bit indecisive on the edge of his box.
Here's Augie Williams. Elected to bring it down rather than go to the corner flag. Birmingham has to go midway through second half stoppage time, down by a goal. Here's Preston. He's into some danger for a moment. 2 more minutes or so left. And Wegbo, Preston pounds that one. Martinez the closest target. Mensah. Great defensive work from Palma, but handled by Alves. Martinez thought about taking a shot. Instead, funnels through 2. Cochran. Mensah fires that one over everybody and out harmlessly, and Charleston will be glad to take a few seconds off the clock.
Yeah, it wasn't a good cross from Mensah, was it? You know, if you're all in the box and there was 4 or 5 white shirts, you need something to drop right in the box to give you a chance to challenge for it. As we were saying, the quality from Birmingham Legion, not good enough, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean that much. They would have had to have other results go their way and win this one for them to possibly play Charleston. So it's going to be Tampa Bay Rowdies, and if Tom Sohn can get them to play much better than this, they're still in with a chance.
1-goal matches have been a theme for Charleston all season. Played 16 1-goal matches on the year entering the night. Is tonight a 1-0 victory. Does Birmingham have a rabbit to pull out of the hat? Dodson making the ball boy work a little harder for that.
Yeah, working the clock down as well. I think referee's got to tell him to move on a little bit more quickly than this. It's blatant time wasting. You're allowed a little bit of it, but can't keep on doing it and steal a few yards as well.
Birmingham, maybe their last chance. Middle of the area, fired away. Austin Ciani checks his watch. There'll be anything left here for Birmingham. The 18, this ball goes, it's brought down! And it had to be a timely challenge from Leland Archer.
Wow, Grayson DuPont just so well to bring that down and go for the volley. Have a look at this. It's a nice long ball into the box. Look how he uses his chest, where we don't get to see it there. It's set that one up. Needed more from that from Birmingham.
There's the final whistle, and the greatest single season turnaround in league history complete. Charleston wins a 12th one-goal match this year. They're 34 points better than 2022. And a 1-0 win off of the leg of Nick Markanek. The Battery get the victory. And tonight, time to get man of the match is Nick Markanek. Gary, you and I thought that he was the best player on the field tonight, and he stuck with this one to score.
Yeah, it wasn't just the goal. Dodson with the header here, but look, he has, ball's going to come out. There's his first shot, but he follows it up. He's quickest to respond. But other than that, he set up Avila for a fantastic chance second half. He got on the end of a few crosses. He's not just good with his feet, he's good in the air. And all around, I thought he had a fabulous match and has put down a marker to be in the starting lineup next weekend.
The final score brought to you by Wicked Weed. Charleston 1, Birmingham 0. Gary and I wrap things up. When we come back, stick with us.
Think big. Something life-changing. I'm talking education. Let's get inventive. Blow things up in a good way. Do it for 20 years? Wake up and education has received billions in funding. Who does all this? If you've ever played one of these or these, that would be you. Yeah, thank you.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
Charleston scores for an 8th consecutive game, their longest streak of the season. And it's enough tonight to win over Birmingham 1-0. Let's take a look at the final highlights from tonight, brought to you by Bud Light. And in the 4th minute, really one of the better chances that Birmingham would have tonight was when Trey Muse was off his line and Nico Brett took one from midfield.
Yeah, it's a long way out to score, and I think the goalkeeper probably had it covered if the ball was going wide, I think, but nonetheless, made them stretch. But here's the goal. Derek Dodson, give him credit, wins their header, and that causes the confusion. Nick Markanek has one shot, which Van Oekel does well to save, but he follows up. Just the sort of desire and an aggression to get in there and be the quickest to pounce on that ball, and that gives Charleston Battery the lead.
Markanek scoring for the 9th time this season, and he had a moment in first half stoppage time, perhaps out of second.
Yeah, cuts inside there, hits it just above Van Oekel. He gets his hands up the goalkeeper and sees it over the crossbar, but he kept creating problems Mark Koenig. He had other opportunities, and he had this one. He waits for the goalkeeper to come, sets up Avila. He's got to hit target, and he does it. He sticks it over the crossbar.
And then in stoppage time, this seemingly came from out of nothing. Enzo Martinez had a chance to tie things up.
Yeah, on the edge of the box, he takes that volley. It's just wide. Goalkeeper Trey Muse and defenders sort of a little bit unsure of each other. And there's another long ball. This was a sort of hit and hope, but in the end, it was their best chance. Dupont brings it down brilliantly and just gets blocked by the good defending.
Frustrating night if you're Birmingham. You're the number 7 seed going to Tampa Bay. Charleston will get now either Louisville or Indy 11 in the postseason. You take a look at the full-time stats of this one. Proved to be a slight edge for Birmingham. They went nearly 40 minutes without a shot. They'll need to improve to take down a red-hot Tampa group on the road next week in the conference quarterfinals.
Yeah, they will. I mean, shots on target, only 3 for Birmingham Legion, but the quality wasn't there. Charleston had the better chances. 1.41 is the XG for the home side, just 0.41. There's a 1-goal difference exactly in expected goals, and guess what? There's a 1-goal difference in the actual score.
And here are the Eastern Conference standings as it stands right now. Detroit would be the number 8 team, but that pens the result against Miami at Sacramento at 10 p.m. Lou City is getting ready to take on Tampa Bay. That match starts in about 25 minutes. Indy 11 is at San Antonio. Lou City with a win could jump to 4. Lou City could also drop to number 6 if Indy 11 wins at San Antonio. Your final thoughts from tonight?
Well, there's still a lot of excitement for all those teams up there, but I think from Charleston Battery's point of view, today was a job well done, and they can feel confident going into a home game next weekend. For Birmingham Legion, if you're going to go to Tampa Bay Rowdies and play like that, chances are you'll come home with nothing. So, can they get it together for next weekend? They certainly have the talent. Tom Sohn has a big job to do between now and next weekend.
The final score presented by Wicked Weed is Charleston 1, Birmingham 0. The biggest single season turnaround in league history complete as the Battery win it. For my partner Gary Bailey and our entire crew, I'm Michael Watrang saying so long. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.